ANC Women's League Elective Conference there is finally underway following a number of delays. The opening session of that conference didn't happen as scheduled yesterday. Instead, that time was took up by registration, which took place until the early hours of this morning. Nobuhle Modise is part of our team watching developments there. She joins us now live. And Nobuhle, what can you tell us about what is happening now in a context where I'm sure there has to be a relooking of the schedule given these many delays?
Indeed, Ayanda, we did see some delays there. Yesterday was supposed to be the opening session of this particular elective conference, but we saw them doing registrations up until the early hours of this morning. And just after midday, that's when we saw members slowly trickling in, and the program will then start. And I also want to speak about the slates that have been announced, where I'll be able to tell you who's vying for which position. But I do have ANC Chief Whip, Pemmy Majodina, here. I want to bring her into the conversation just before I let her go, because she has to go back inside. And just maybe firstly, let's for joining us. Let's maybe speak about the delays that we saw here yesterday. What is the reason behind it? Maybe you can shine some light into it.
Let me greet all your viewers at home. I'm here as a member of the National Executive Committee of the Women's League, let alone to be a chief whip, but here I'm speaking on behalf of the NEC of the Women's League. The delays were caused by our thorough going through of documents, because conferences by nature, they cause a lot of tensions. We did not want to be litigated after this conference. We had to take 2 hours per region. There are 11 regions here. So processing name tags, you have to start by verification of each and every member. When there are replacements, you must get replacement letters signed accordingly by the BEC. So that process took us the whole afternoon yesterday until early hours of this morning, 6 o'clock. But I'm comfortably sitting at 82% registered delegates. However, those registered delegates, they got their name tags in the morning. So some of them are trying to refresh, but they are coming to conference. This is an important conference to be held during the Women's Month. Our national conference was 2 weeks ago, and we took a vow there that within 2 weeks we are going to host 6 conferences. Already last week we hosted 4 successful provincial conferences. This weekend is KZN and Gauteng. And we are confident that women are ready for this conference. It's just that those glitches is what the ANC and ourselves must work on.
And then let's maybe speak about the credibility of this particular conference. I mean, it was dissolved, the Women's League in the province was dissolved, and it was being run by a provincial task team. Speak to us about the credibility of this particular conference.
The National Executive Committee of the Women's League was disbanded, and we were taken to the conference by the NTT, and it was credible. The provincial structures were all dissolved, and each and every province had the PTT, and all those PTTs, because they were appointed by national, they are all credible. Even this one of KZN is credible. Even when you look at those who are in the Electoral Commission, the observers, even the veterans that are there, it tells you that we want a credible conference, and we are not going to leave any stone unturned to ensure that this is a credible conference.
Ma'am Majodina, lastly, let's speak about what are your hopes, what your hopes are following this conference. What are the outcomes that you're hoping for? Maybe not that, but I mean, what are your hopes for it to go well?
One is that women of KZN must be united. We have seen how women are targeted in terms of killings, random killings of women in KZN, Eastern Cape, and Limpopo is uncalled for. We need a leadership that is going to be decisive. Let the contest be healthy, free, and fair and transparent. I'm told there are about 3 lineups, and even if there are 7 lineups, what we want is that once a leadership has been elected, we are all going to rally behind that leadership. Members have a right to preference of their leadership, but once one is elected, all of us must disband the slates and follow the elected leadership. I'm not foreseeing any hassles that are going to happen during the elections time. Comrades are going to get in based on their credibility, their history, their talent, how they are known in the Women's League. But we want people that are going to take us forward on the women economic emancipation, because that is what women are. When you look at poverty, poverty has a face of a woman. When you look at gender-based violence and femicide, those are women. We need strong women to take us forward.
Thank you very much. That is Pemmy Majodina. You heard her just saying that 82% of the delegates here have been registered. Also just speaking about her hopes for this conference, saying that she wants a leadership that's going to be very decisive. You've heard her speak then. She also spoke about the slates being disbanded once they've chosen who those people that should be in leadership positions are. And speaking of slates, let me just speak to you about some of the slates that have been announced in previous weeks. We have number one, Bongisi Tolemiloi, who is the current COCTA NEC and also a member of the PEC. And under her, she's obviously vying for chairperson. Under her, we're looking at Nondumiso Qele, who is a former ANC-led eThekwini EXCO member and is now currently a member of the MPL. She's also vying for the deputy chair. And then that second slate is Nonhlanhla Khoza, who is the current MEC of social development in the province. And under her, the person that's vying for the deputy chair is Mbali Fraser, who is the current education MEC. You would remember that Nonhlanhla Khoza, who's in the second slate, as I've mentioned, was an incumbent in the ANC Women's League, the leadership before it was dissolved, which is now being run by the provincial task team. And then on the third slate, we have Tlengiwe Mavimbela, who is a former sports, arts and culture MEC, and she's obviously vying for that chairperson role. And under her, we have Nondumiso Qele as well, vying for deputy chair. We saw Nondumiso Qele in the first slate as well, also vying for deputy chair. So it will be interesting to see how that works out. But those are the current slates that we have at the moment, and obviously we will give you a blow-by-blow update of what takes place during this conference.
And we look forward to it. Nobuhle Modise, thanks very much indeed. She's live to us there from the Inkosi Albert Luthuli Convention Center.